Through the Budget 2024 proposal, the government has decided to allocate 450 billion rupees to recapitalize the state banks, which are being affected due to the domestic debt restructuring process. According to the budget proposal for the year 2024, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation's debt is valued at trillion rupees, while the Ceylon Electricity Board has an accumulated debt of 800 billion rupees owed to the state banks. Due to the debt restructuring process, banks face the risk of recording large losses which will have to be met by capital infusions from taxpayer funds. In addition to the 450 billion rupee recapitalization, it is proposed that 20% of the shares of two large state-owned banks should be given to strategic investors or the public to improve capital and reduce the burden on taxpayers' funds.
Talking about financial sector stability, a crucial pillar in Sri Lanka's macroeconomic reform program is ensuring the stability of the financial sector. During times of economic stress, there's typically an increase in pressure on financial sector's stability. The domestic debt optimization process has had material impact on the balance sheets of the state banks in particular. In order to ensure continued strength of the banking sector, the government has proactively allocated 450 billion rupees towards recapitalization of the relevant entities. There is also an allocation of 3,000 million, that is 3 trillion, to provide for the issue of new restructured USD bonds in exchange for existing international sovereign bonds. Both the above allocations are financed in a manner that will not disrupt the domestic rupee fixed income market. Bank recapitalization allocation is more than enough to ensure the banking sector remains stable and well capitalized. However, in parallel, a number of governance and regulatory reforms for the banking sector are being implemented. This includes enhanced disciplines on appointments of key management personnel and boards of state banks, tighter restrictions in terms of single borrower limits and other credit risks parameters, and other measures to ensure the mistakes of the past are not repeated. It has, however, not been possible to provide relief on tax measures at this stage. Government revenue collection remains below target levels, and it is the aggregate target that is watched closely by the IMF and external creditors. In a context where revenue is below target and where the tax reforms have been in place for less than a year, it has become very difficult to defend a reduction in taxes, particularly those affect the top 20% of income earners in the country. Any reduction on one type of taxes would have to be matched by an increase in a different tax to maintain the aggregate revenue target intact. What are the results of tax administration and compliance reform begin to bear fruit? The aggregate tax targets can be met. It will be possible to revisit some relief in terms of tax liability.